You member?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand earlier Senator Cruz asked you, Mr. Jensen, about spectrum, so I wanted to go back to that if I could. Are you aware that the 2000 Defense Authorization Act required the Secretary of Defense, the Joint Chiefs, the Secretary of Commerce to all work together? That's what we were trying to do, certify that spectrum auction includes use by DoD. Are you aware that no such certification was made by the Trump administration? That never happened. Nobody worked together.
I wasn't aware of that, Senator. I'm very happy to look into that.
Well, I think the reason I'm bringing it up because what happened is then some DoD radar spectrum was auctioned, and there was a lot of confusion and interference. And so we obviously think that in the spectrum world, you should have, the test bedding of important issues before moving DoD spectrum. So are you also aware that I think Senator Cruz mentioned relocation fund, but he claimed that these funds enabled users to upgrade their capabilities, and that's not true. In fact, it only allows federal users to maintain a comparable. I am suggesting a legislation that we had last Congress that does give people the ability to upgrade, because I really do think that that is important. But I just want to make sure that we have the record correct, that mission critical systems were turned off and no replacement was provided. And so that's a very important distinction, I think, in the debate, because I want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We don't want to be in this vague area that somehow somebody thinks the law exists to protect DoD, when in reality, during the last Trump administration, it didn't, and we had some confusion, and we don't want to see it again. Okay, Mr. Fink, I hear 5 or so of my colleagues asked you about mainline derailment issues, and you were mentioning that you think there were some other statistics there, but we're talking about FRA, the Federal Railroad Administration numbers, which they say that you had an 850% higher than the other Class 2 railroads. Do you dispute the FRA numbers?
Our train accident records were in the middle of the railroads, my peer group railroads, so I don't know of any 850% higher for that. I do not know that, and that number makes really no sense to me. Okay,
well, in fact, in every year in the decade before you, sold Pan, the railroad, the mainline derailment rate was double the average railroad. And the reason why the main line is so important is because we're talking about East Palestine, we're talking about areas that we think are critical for safety. Also, do you think that Norfolk Southern's responsibility was to clean up the mess?
Absolutely.
Okay. And your company was criminally convicted and sentenced for trying to cover up 90,000 gallon fuel in Ayer, Massachusetts?
It was 900 gallons.
900 gallons. So do you think you should have done that without the court decision?
We were cleaning it up. We did not properly report it, and we were fined and found guilty. Yes,
So what do you think that we should be doing moving forward to make sure that we have better alignment on product safety, cleanup, all of these responsibilities? What is your...
In that instance, we had an employee that didn't follow the procedure that they were supposed to follow. We were cleaning it up. We did not report it. We cleaned it up. We were found guilty of not reporting and had a very substantial fine.
Okay. Do you remember what that fine was?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You think that's substantial, hundreds of thousands of dollars, given what some of these communities, the lives? We'll do more for the record on this, but I represent a very big port state and railroad state. We move a lot of product for the United States, and oftentimes it's through very treacherous areas where the response to this can take a long time. The Columbia River Gorge, for example. So we want to see someone who's going to be aggressive about the continued evolution about information, involvement, first responders, plans for communities, and responsibilities, and certainly for follow-up of the legislation we've moved out of this committee that would have, for very, very long trains, the staffing that is required to keep all of us safe. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.